Hello and thank you for joining us. With me today over Skype is Stratfor's Science and Technology Analyst Rebecca Keller to talk a little bit about ongoing water scarcity issues, this time affecting Canada. So Becca, correct me if I'm wrong, when I think of Canada, I think about a country with an abundance of water, but clearly they're still affected by issues of water scarcity. Can you explain the background to this for me?
Yeah, so Canada definitely comes up as one of those countries that we think of as water rich. And on paper, they are. Per capita water availability in Canada is astronomical. It's over 80,000 cubic meters per person per year. To put that in perspective, countries in the Middle East function at between 100 and 200 cubic meters per year per person. But it's all about distribution. Canada's water, 60% of it flows to the north, up into the Arctic Circle, the Hudson Bay. But 85% of the population lives in the southern part of the country. So there's an accessibility issue to some extent. Now, Canada's not water scarce in the sense that we think of the Mideast as being water scarce, but they do have some availability issues, especially in the prairie provinces of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. And that comes from using more than is available, much like the high plains of the United States, where farming and agricultural use has stressed the available water.
Now, clearly, Canada has a much smaller population than the United States. Do you think in the future we'll see any pressure for Canada to become an exporter of water to other countries that have less?
So pressure isn't necessarily the word I would use, but we do see that idea pop up from time to time. And it's not a new idea. It's been around since the mid-20th century, looking at large-scale bulk export of water, be it through pipeline, canal, or even on ships, and then smaller transports of water through on the ships to Asian countries, or even bottled water. So we do see bottled water exports, but all the other kinds are highly unlikely. And that's because water's not necessarily seen as a tradable commodity as natural gas or oil would be. It's seen more of as a right. The tradability of the commodity isn't the same as oil or natural gas. So in that sense, we probably won't see Canada exporting their water, even though it seems like a simple solution to droughts in the United States. California right now is going through a really severe drought, and the idea of just pumping water from wetter areas of the continent does come up, but it's not only is it socially unfeasible, it's also economically unfeasible. Moving water is extremely expensive. It's heavy. It's hard to pump it over mountains. So that also comes into play. So from both the political or social aspect and the economic aspect, it's not really a reality in the near future.
And clearly water management becomes an issue regardless of how much you have. Are there any steps that the Canadian government are taking to actually manage their water looking into the future, trying to balance between the different regions and make sure that they have sustainability for centuries to come?
The conservation movement is growing. Canada is aware of the problem, but they're also a little bit hesitant to make water a truly marketable resource. There's a fear with pricing water at a true market price level because of the NAFTA agreement. Now, there's no exports from Canada to the United States now, and it is socially and economically unfeasible. But there's still the fear that if it's treated like a good in Canada, it could be subjected to the NAFTA requirements and potentially exported. And once Canada turns on the tap to the United States, the fear is that they can't turn it off.
Becca, thank you so much for taking the time to go through this today. And for more on water scarcity, please continue to read our ongoing series published on Stratfor.com.